Hey, what are you doing? What's going on with you? You got a face. I don't know what you did with it, but it's looking pretty good. Keep it in your purse. You might need it for later. At Faceland. I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. How are you? My name's Nick Digilio. You're watching a Nick Digilio video either on YouTube or on Patreon. And either way, thank you very much. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. There are over 150 videos below here. Scroll down. There's all kinds of stories about life and friends and goofiness and talk about music and books and TV shows and memories and movies. I do a lot of movie reviews all here on the YouTube channel. So subscribe, like, leave your comments, all that shit. More importantly, a lot of these videos show up on my Patreon page. Patreon's a great place for people to do their art and leave their videos for musicians and artists and storytellers. I have videos here if you're watching me on Patreon, or there if you're not watching me on Patreon. But the important thing is to donate on Patreon. Become a patron, pick a tier, make a monthly donation, $3, $5, $25 a month. Whatever you want to do, $3 a month's not going to kill you. Pass it along. It's a good thing. You get bonus videos and materials and content that nobody else gets unless you donate. So donate today. It helps a lot. You get some bonus materials and videos from behind the scenes stories that nobody else is seeing at WGN and other stuff. And it also, in general, you'll feel good about yourself by donating. It'll be a good thing that you can do and feel good for your Savior Christ if you believe in that stuff. Or if you don't, just be cool. Donate. Patreon.com/NickDShow. Go there right now. Donate. Be a patron. Patreon.com/NickDShow. Very cool. Anyway, my podcast is the Nick D Podcast, and you can get new episodes by subscribing for free. RadioMisfits.com every Tuesday and Friday. New episodes. That's also free. All this stuff that I'm doing here is free, which is why you should go to Patreon.com/NickDShow now and donate for all the free stuff that you're getting for free. Reviews and stories and podcasts and all kinds of stuff. All that stuff is free. So you gotta go to Patreon.com/NickDShow. Donate some dough. Seems like a good thing to do. That's just me. Hey, so the 70mm Film Festival is continuing at the incredible Music Box Theater. I've talked about the Music Box Theater a million times. It is the best theater in the country, and we happen to have it right here in this city. It is a single bus ride from my apartment, and I go there as often as possible. I am lucky enough to know the people that manage the place, and I'm friends with people that work there. And as a film critic, I have the luxury of going to see a lot of the stuff there free of charge. And also, I talk about the Music Box with every chance I get, with their new first-run films that they show, mostly independent, mostly foreign, specialty movies, and they show big regular titles as well, and they do a lot of films from the past and special events and special festivals. Well, the 70mm Festival is happening right now at the Music Box Theater. You should attend. They bring in a giant screen, they install it so that you can watch all the giant, beautiful, incredible cinematic imagery of 70mm film in the beautiful auditorium. They're showing amazing big movies like Spartacus and Lawrence of Arabia and Hello, Dolly. And so many other amazing films. They showed Airport. They're showing Geronimo, the Walter Hill movie. They're showing a ton of amazing stuff that you need to see on the big screen. And one of the movies that they showed was John Carpenter's Starman, which was amazing to see in 70mm. I had never seen it in 70mm before. It was originally shot in 35, but they blew it up to 70. Watched it in the auditorium the other night, and it was great. For those of you who know me, John Carpenter is my favorite director. Jeff Bridges is my favorite actor, and I love that movie. It's a lot like E.T., only it's good. That's the difference. It's very similar to E.T. Alien comes, the road trip to try and save the alien, to reunite with his other aliens, so he can go back safely to his planet before the government kills him and before he dies. It's very similar to E.T. Instead, E.T., the E.T. character is played by Jeff Bridges, which is better than E.T. And, so it's very similar to the plot of E.T. The difference is that Starman is actually a good fucking movie. It's actually good. That's the difference between Starman and E.T. Starman's good. So anyway, great to see Starman, and the female lead in Starman is Karen Allen. Now, Karen Allen, that's what this video is about. It's a celebration of the magnificence of the wonderful, the beautiful, the often adorable, the heartbreakingly beautiful and magnificent Karen Allen, who is not only incredibly attractive, and not only men of my a certain age, of like my age especially, have been and always will be in love with Karen Allen. There was a stretch of about 10 or 11 years between 1978 and around 1989 where every guy around my age, I'm going to be 57 in 2 weeks or a week and a half or something, whatever, but about a week and a half. And anybody my age was in love with Karen Allen. Between 78 and like 89, you were in love with Karen Allen. I think there was a legal binding contract that as a boy or a young man or a man growing up during that era or becoming an adult or being an adult, you had to sign this contract, meaning you will love Karen Allen. That's just how it was, and that's how it worked. From her film debut, Karen Allen is wonderful. She is a terrific actress. She's got a lot of talent. She can do anything. She's done a lot of stage. She's done a ton of TV, episodic TV movies. She's always good in everything that she does. Doesn't work that much anymore. She still pops up every once in a while. She's older now, obviously. She's, I believe she's close to 70 at this point, or 70. So she's around, she's around that age. So she does play those kind of roles now. She does a terrific job during it. But around the time when she started for, like I said, around 10 years, every movie she was in, I was gaga over her. I was in love with Karen Allen. And it's weird. It's weird. I have another weird connection to Karen Allen. A girl that I dated, that I lived with for a few years, totally reminds me of Karen Allen. So every time I see Karen Allen in any movie, past or present, I think of this girl that I lived with. We had a fantastic 3-year run. She's a wonderful woman. And after I saw Starman the other night, I actually texted her and said, hey, I saw Starman the other night, and of course I thought of you. And she texted me back and said, well, I'm glad I can invade your brain still, even though it was a long time ago when we dated. It's like 20 years ago when we dated. But anyway, this girl that I dated reminds me of Karen Allen. So I have these wonderful memories of that, and wonderful memories of seeing Karen Allen and having a massive, huge, undeniable, massive crush on Karen Allen. And if you didn't have a crush on Karen Allen at around that time, then you weren't a heterosexual male. That's it. Her first movie was National Lampoon's Animal House. Right out of the gate, she played Katie in Animal House. She was Boone's girlfriend. Peter Riegert's girlfriend in Animal House, who also has an affair with Professor Jennings, played by Donald Sutherland. You get to see her butt, and then you get to see Donald Sutherland's butt in that scene. I fell in love with her immediately when I saw Animal House. I mean, Animal House was a movie that sort of, defined my life. I was 13 when it came out, summer of 1978. I was obsessed with Saturday Night Live. My sense of humor was being sort of created and defined at that time between SNL, SCTV, and especially Python. I was in love with that stuff. And National Lampoon, I was in love with National Lampoon. So when Animal House came out, it was a huge seminal movie of my teenage years. And Karen Allen was, she was the shit in that movie. She was great in it. She was wonderful. She was cute, adorable. Fell in love with her. So right out of the gate, she's in Animal House. And then as she moves along, she was in The Wanderers. She played a love interest in that, which was the sort of like period gang film that came out the same year as The Warriors. And people get them confused. They're both good movies. I prefer The Warriors. But she was in The Wanderers. Obviously, it's like, oh my God, that's the girl from Animal House. She's in The Wanderers. Then she was in Cruising, William Friedkin's crazy-ass movie with Al Pacino as an undercover cop who infiltrates the gay nightlife scene in New York City to track a serial killer who is killing homosexuals in the gay neighborhoods of New York. And Al Pacino gets caught up in the weirdness. It's a crazy film, very controversial. Karen Allen plays Al Pacino's girlfriend in it. And it's a very freaky role for her, and the ending where she's wearing like the S&M leather hat and the sunglasses. One of my favorite final images. It's like one of the final images in the movie. It's one of my favorite final images is to see, Karen Allen from Animal House, cute, adorable Karen Allen in an S&M, an S&M like leather hat, sunglasses, like whip and stuff. Pretty cool. I think Cruising is a very interesting film at best. She was in that. And then she was in the series of movies in a row where she continued to add on to the crush factor, to the factor that I was in love with her, like movie after movie after movie after movie where she was not only Karen Allen physically, beautiful, attractive, adorable, incredible big eyes and that husky, wonderful voice, like the voice, the eyes, the beautiful face, adorable, gorgeous, like sexy, mysterious, those big, damn, beautiful eyes, my God. So anyway, she continued to make movie after movie after movie. Here's the stretch where I continued to fall more head over heels and deeply in love with Karen Allen. That would be A Small Circle of Friends, which took place in the 60s and was like a love triangle movie with Jameson Parker, Brad Davis, and Karen Allen. Takes place at Harvard, on the campus of Harvard, during the tumultuous 60s, and it was about free love and all kinds of stuff. Karen Allen was great in that. Loved her in that. She was in, and then she was in, for Christ's sake, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay, she played Marion Ravenswood in Raiders of the Lost Ark. One of the greatest female roles in the history of adventure movies. I mentioned Spielberg earlier because of E.T. This actually is a really good movie. Raiders is a great movie. And she will always forever be Marion in Raiders of the Lost Ark. They made 3 more Raiders movies. She came back for Crystal Skull, and she was the best thing in it. She was the only good thing in that piece of shit. And but, the women that they tried to replace her with in the other Indiana Jones movies failed miserably. But there will only be one love of Indiana Jones's life, and that's Marion from Raiders of the Lost Ark. And, of course, she's amazing in it. You've seen Raiders. How great, how funny, how adorable, how beautiful, how strong, how badass she was. She was a total badass in that movie. Drinking, punching, awesome. So, boom. And it continues. After Raiders, she did one of my favorite movies of all time, Shoot the Moon, Alan Parker's incredible movie about a divorce between two people, a marriage that falls apart. Albert Finney, Diane Keaton play the married couple that go through the divorce. They've got a bunch of daughters. Peter Weller plays the love interest to Diane Keaton as she goes through the divorce. And Albert Finney, the other woman, is played by Karen Allen. Who is in the movie. And Karen Allen is great in it. She's got an incredible monologue about how if Albert Finney lets her down, she'll just move on and find somebody else. She's wonderful in that, and that came right after Raiders, so I was already in love with her. And the fact that Shoot the Moon was a movie that blew my fucking mind and blew me away, and to this day, I get devastated by that movie. I love it. It's one of my very favorite, most emotional, most devastating, and most incredibly powerful films I've ever seen in my life, and Karen Allen's a big part of that. So Shoot the Moon. Then after Shoot the Moon, she was in Split Image, which is a remake of this movie called Gateway to Heaven? Exit to Heaven, or something to Heaven. And it's about cults, about a guy being sucked into like a religious cult, and they bring in a deprogrammer. And in Split Image, it's Michael O'Keefe, and the girl that brings him into the cult, brainwashes him into the cult, is Karen Allen. And let me tell you something. I would join a cult for Karen Allen. I would allow myself to be brainwashed for Karen Allen. It was perfect casting. Like, hey, I don't want to join this cult. It's very weird. You people are nuts. I might go nuts being in a religious cult, doing weird things, maybe, breaking laws and maybe killing people and doing some weird sort of fucking religious sacrifice, crazy cult shit. Oh, it's Karen Allen who wants me to do it? I'm in. I'm full in. Fuck my religion. Fuck my family. Fuck my friends. I'll leave that life behind. I'll drink crazy Kool-Aid. I'll join a cult. You know why? Karen Allen's there. So Split Image, terrific movie if you've not seen it. Until September was this sort of art house film, although made by American filmmakers, where she plays a woman who goes on a trip to Paris by herself to find herself. And while she's there, she has an affair with this French dude, played by some French actor who made some French movies in the 80s. And the thing about this one was this is the first time that Karen Allen got naked in a movie. And again, I was 18, 19 when that movie came out. So, you're 18, you're 19. You want to see Karen Allen naked. I was in love with her already for, like 8 years, since the beginning, since Animal House. And now she's in this movie called Until September, which is not a good movie. It's a sort of a pretentious, European American movie, very European influenced and influenced by French film. And she plays the American woman who gets seduced by the French guy and learns to love herself and others and blah, blah, blah. But you got to see Karen Allen naked. And I know it's very base. But listen, like I said, I was 18 going on 19 when the movie came out. So that was the number one reason I went to see it. Karen Allen, got to see her boobies. and that was awesome. So, not a very good movie, but again, I loved her, and you got to see her naked in that movie. And then Starman, the movie that I just saw the other night at the Music Box in 70mm. An amazing movie, proving that John Carpenter can do romance. He'd never done that kind of stuff before. He can do flat-out regular sci-fi, not horror sci-fi. He can do feel-good. He can make a crowd pleaser. And he can do comedy, because Starman is a very funny movie. And he can also direct actors. He always could direct actors, but it was the first time that anybody, and the only time, that anybody ever got nominated for an Academy Award in a John Carpenter movie. Jeff Bridges got nominated for Best Actor for his incredible performance in Star. He didn't win. F. Murray Abraham won for Amadeus, which, would go on to sweep all the Academy Awards. And there wasn't a chance that Jeff Bridges was going to win, even though he should have won, because it was the best performance that year. Because he's Jeff Bridges. He's the best actor on the planet. By the way, if you're not watching The Old Man on FX, you should start watching The Old Man on FX. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Jeff motherfucking Bridges kicking massive amounts of ass. Anyway, Jeff Bridges, and in it he plays an alien who takes on the form of a dead guy, and the dead guy's widow is played by Karen Allen. He grabs her. They go on a road trip to meet up with his other alien cohorts in Arizona maybe, and he's going to meet up and go back to his his home planet as an alien who's in the body of Jeff Bridges. And there's a romance that happens between the two of them, and all kinds of, the bad government chases after him. Like I said, it's like E.T. only good. And Jeff Bridges is amazing, and Karen Allen is unbelievable in it. The final shot of that movie is a close-up of Karen Allen's face, just with those beautiful eyes and that wonderful skin and the beautiful face, just looking skyward as her dead husband's, the alien, floats off and flies away in the alien ship, the close-up of her face. John Carpenter knows, man. Let's end the movie with a close-up of the angelic and beautiful face of Karen Allen. That's your final shot. And to see Karen Allen, just her face, that final shot in 70mm at the Music Box, crying. So it continues, and then she plays Laura in Paul Newman's film version of Tennessee Williams' The Glass Menagerie, and she was fucking amazing in it. Maybe her best film performance, because it clearly is, really an incredible character to dig into, and up until that point, it was the best acting she had ever done. Like, she played Laura, a legendary classic female role in the history of theater, and she knocked it out of the park. She's amazing. And if you've not seen Paul Newman's version of Glass Menagerie, which is good, Malkovich is in it, Joanne Woodward, but Karen Allen plays Laura. It's her Glass Menagerie, and she's incredible in it. And again, just completely confirmed more of my love for Karen Allen. And then she was in this weird, and this is a movie that I love, but it's really pretty terrible. It was kind of a straight-to-video at that time, like 1987 or 88, when every week 800 VHS movies came out that went straight to video, and they were either slasher movies or titty movies or horror movies, and sometimes they were just exploitation movies and sex thrillers, because at that time, stuff like Fatal Attraction was really big, and it was the late 80s when if you just spent $10 on a set, you got some chicks with big tits, they took their tops off, and you made like crazy straight-to-video sex thrillers. Well, Backfire is one of those, and it starred Jeff Fahey, who made his share of straight-to-video movies in the 80s, and Keith Carradine, who spent a good portion of his career making straight-to-video. Not to say that they're not great actors, because Jeff Fahey and Keith Carradine are both great actors. And Karen Allen inexplicably shows up in one of these straight-to-video, menage a trois sex thrillers where she's like having sex with one guy and another guy's a maniac and they plan to kill the other guy. It is your basic sort of like three-way sex thriller straight to video late 80s crap. But for some reason, I love it because Jeff Fahey rules and Keith Carradine rules. The movie's terrible, but Karen Allen is sort of like the vixen, kind of the, planning sort of sexy vixen in the movie. And it's not good, but it's worth seeing, especially if you love Karen Allen. Backfire. And then after Backfire, this was the one that was the capper. It was 10 years later, 10 years after the release of Animal House, she starred in Scrooged. Richard Donner's take on Christmas Carol with Bill Murray as Scrooge, where he's visited by the spirits. You've all seen it. It's the wacky Bill Murray version of Scrooge, and it's called Scrooge. Not a particularly great movie. Has some funny moments in it. Overall, it's not great. But Karen Allen plays like the love interest, plays the heart and soul of the movie, plays the heart of the Ebenezer, the cold-hearted, mean Ebenezer character, and she is the love interest in it. Adorable, the eyes, the hats, the wardrobe, every word she says, that smoky, beautiful, raspy voice of hers. Richard Donner did the best casting he could. To have someone melt the heart of Ebenezer Scrooge, it's got to be a special person, Karen Allen. So for 10 years straight, between 78 and 88, Karen Allen, starting with Animal House and ending with Scrooge, was on the top of my list of massive, ridiculous, oh my God, I love this woman with all my heart actresses ever. Animal House, The Wanderers, Cruising, Small Circle of Friends, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Shoot the Moon, Split Image, Until September, Starman, Glass Menagerie, where she played Laura, Backfire, and Scrooged. All back to back to back to back to back to back to back, where she reigned supreme over any other actress, besides Jamie Lee Curtis, that I had an incredible, massive crush on. Everything about her. Beautiful, adorable eyes, voice, magnificent, and a terrific actress. And then she moved on to more character roles as she got older. She popped into movies like Malcolm X. She's great in Malcolm X. She's in The Sandlot. She plays the mom in The Sandlot. Another movie that everybody loves that I can't fucking stand. I've only seen it once all the way through in bits and pieces here. I don't understand people's love for The Sandlot. I think it's a terrible movie. She plays the mom in that, so that's good. People like that. I don't. King of the Hill, one of Steven Soderbergh's most underrated movies. Jesse Bradford was amazing in that. One of Adrian Brody's very first movies, kid actor. She played Jesse Bradford's teacher in that movie. A great film, a Depression-era movie about a kid trying to survive with no money and a sick mother and all kinds of It's a great film. It's an early Steven Soderbergh movie, a great one that holds up amongst the 9 million movies that Steven Soderbergh has made. And Karen Allen is great in that. She plays the teacher in that. She was in the horror movie Ghost in the Machine, had a small part in that. She was in Till There Was You, which was okay. She was one of the wives that was left behind when the guys went off into the perfect storm with Mark Wahlberg and George Clooney, the big based on the true story guys caught in this incredible storm. She played one of the wives left behind in that. So she was in the Bedroom. Tremendous in that movie. Very beautiful character performance for her. And she came back for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It was the only reason I was really excited about the movie, considering that the last one, the one with Sean Connery, sucked ass, and I wasn't looking forward to it. And we went to see it, and it turned out to be one of the worst movies ever. It was one of the most disappointing movies ever. Even fans of the Indiana Jones series, even people who like the stupid third one with Sean Connery, were disappointed by Crystal Skull. Fucking horrible. Horrendous on every level. But she came back. She was the best part of the movie. And it was great because people were like, oh my God, finally we're going to bring back Marion. Finally we're going to bring back a female lead in an Indiana Jones movie who doesn't fucking ruin it. And they're bringing back Marion. And she came back. She couldn't save the movie, but she was the best part of it. And since then, she pops up here and there, playing, obviously older women and age-appropriate roles. She I think she had an illness for a little while and was away. She doesn't appear, regularly, but when she does, it's always a treat. Karen Allen, one of the best, one of my favorite actresses of all time. And again, that 10-year span between 78 and 88, there was no one more adorable. There was no one more beautiful. Nobody had better eyes. Nobody had a better voice. One of the most massive crushes I've ever had, and those movies that she was in were great. And so to see her on the big screen in 70 millimeter in John Carpenter's brilliant, masterful Starman, to see her give that kind of performance. She could, by the way, she could play anything. She could do comedy, she could do comedy, she could do historical stuff, thrillers, sci-fi, and just like really, she's a really terrific actress. And if you've not seen her play Laura in Glass Menagerie, you should check that out, in addition to all the wonderful movies that continue to cement her as one of the biggest crushes that I've ever had, ever. So the great Karen Allen, there's a lot to choose from. I love her, and every time she pops up in anything, TV, movie, whatever it is, I will watch it, because she rules. So, little love letter to Karen Allen here, and check out her stuff, it's out there. All right, thank you.